Midweek Pictorial, July 15, 1920. Open-air theater on Lake Michigan, erected on a pier that juts out into the water just off the beach of the Edgewater Hotel, where the guests can enjoy music and plays without leaving the ground. No matter how sultry the weather, there is always a cool breeze coming from the lake that enables the audience to enjoy the entertainment without being conscious of physical discomfort. The Avion, the largest intercity airship operating in the West on a regular schedule. It is a Curtiss airplane of the California Aerial Transportation Company. It has already made 30 successful trips over the Tehachapi Mountains between San Francisco and Los Angeles. On June 26th, the Avion was wrecked as it was starting on its trip north, hitting a palm tree and toppling over. The passengers and pilot escaped injury. The motors have 450 horsepower. Crack rifle squads of the New York Police Department on their way to the parade ground at Fort Wadsworth, where they have been in training. The men are subjected to rigorous military drill, and the body is an important element of the force. New York is well prepared to deal with any riot or outbreak that may occur within its limits, and any serious revolutionary agitation would meet with short shrift. The picture will strike a responsive chord in the breast of the retail fruiterer and grocer who has often had his fruit spoiled by being handled by thoughtless customers who pinch it to see if it is just right. If they really feel it necessary to pinch anything, the dealer invites him to pinch the rock, which is proof against any kind of handling. He has already saved enough to pay the cost of the sign. Minister Köster making a welcoming speech at Flensburg on the occasion of its being reoccupied by German forces after the plebiscite that decided that the city should remain under German sovereignty. Plebiscites took place in the 2nd and 3rd Schleswig zones, the latter rejoining Denmark, while the 2nd retained its German control. German troops, garlanded with flowers, marching into Flensburg after it had been determined by popular vote that the zone, of which it is the principal city, should retain its allegiance to Germany. It is an important town, and German rejoicings were great. Group of the Boy Scouts of America, of whom 300 have been chosen as the pick of American boyhood to attend a great demonstration of scouting in England and to make a tour through Europe. They are here lined up at Fort Hamilton, New York. Ingenious tractor of 1/8 horsepower, fashioned like a tank and run by electricity. As can be seen, it is capable of drawing a considerable weight and can be applied to many modes of light work. 3 advocates of the independence of Ireland who fought hard at the San Francisco Democratic Convention to have a plank inserted declaring for Irish independence. The effort was unsuccessful. Left to right are Frank P. Walsh, Eamon de Valera, President of the self-declared Irish Republic, and Edward F. Dunn. Walsh and Dunn were members of Irish Commission to Peace Conference. View of deserted street in Londonderry, when the ordinary life of the city was suspended during the fierce fighting that was going on in other quarters. Most of the inhabitants stayed indoors. The rioting was only put down after many days of bloodshed and the use of the military forces of machine guns. Men of the Dorset Regiment having breathing spell in one of the pauses of the fighting that for many days kept Londonderry in a state of terror. They are stationed at the end of Bridge Street, where many killings had occurred. Young Sinn Féiners displaying their flags in one of the streets in Londonderry. The revolt there has now been suppressed, but at one time it was so serious that it was looked upon by many as the beginning of the long-threatened Civil War. For over a week, terror reigned. The service of the mail was suspended, factories closed because workers were afraid to leave their houses, and shooting was almost constant. Hotel Inglewood and stores on the second floor of the building wrecked by the earthquake of June 21st. It was in this block, which contained some of the best buildings, that the greatest damage was done. The back of a business block that suffered from the earthquake that shook Inglewood, and for a time revived fears that the San Francisco quake might be duplicated. The town was thrown into darkness, windows smashed, chimneys crumbled, and for a time panic prevailed. Damage done on Commercial Street, Inglewood, a town a few miles southwest of Los Angeles, California. In the foreground at the curb, a 5-passenger automobile was buried under tons of debris as the front wall of the Hotel Inglewood fell outward for some 250 feet. Property losses in the town amounted to $75,000. Champion 11-year-old bread baker of Massachusetts. His name is Wesley Sheldon, and he won the first prize for bread making in a contest run by the Worcester Company Farm Bureau of Massachusetts. Cattle being rounded up by cowboys in Grant Park, Chicago. It was an amusing feature preceding the gathering of the Elks Convention in that city, June 5th. The cattle are here shown enjoying the cooling waters of Lake Michigan. In the background is the Great Field Museum that was given to the city of Chicago by the late Marshall Field. George Duncan, veteran English golfer, who won the British Open Championship at Deal, England, July 3rd, after getting off to a bad start. William T. Tilden, winner of the International Tennis Championship at Wimbledon, England. Tilden won after a wonderful exhibition of skill and stamina, beating all comers except his own compatriot, Johnston. Winning crew of a girls' boat race in England. The race was between the students of Newnham College, Cambridge, and those of the London School of Medicine. The race was from Barnes to Chiswick Church, and was rowed in good form. Charlie White knocked out in the 9th round by Benny Leonard at Benton Harbor, Michigan, July 5th. The fight was a spirited one, and White carried the battle to Leonard and had the best of the early rounds. When the armistice was signed, arrangements were made for 3 bridgeheads to be established at the main crossings of the Rhine at Mayence, Cologne, and Koblenz. These were to be held by the French, British, and American forces respectively. The Americans now in the Koblenz bridgehead number about 17,000 men. Major General March of the United States Army has been on a tour of inspection during the month of June and has found the forces to be in first-class shape as regards healthy morale and discipline. He also inspected the French and British forces and is convinced that the combined forces under Foch make a perfect military machine. Photo caption: General Peyton C. March at left in the Koblenz bridgehead, where he has been making an inspection of American troops quartered there. American troops of the Army of Occupation being reviewed by General Peyton C. March, the leading figure at left on horseback. Machine gun section of the American Army on the Rhine, being inspected by General March. The general was enthusiastic at the showing made by the troops, and declared that he found them at the highest point of training and efficiency. If emergencies should arise requiring military action, they would be ready. Soldiers of the American Army of Occupation marching in review on the broad field of maneuvers that is used for their drill and training. They are reported in superb condition. Major General March riding in review between the ranks of the American troops at Koblenz. They are under the command of Major General Henry T. Allen.